Greetings. Greetings. It's Friday. This is becoming my favorite day of the week. I'm starting to like Wednesday evenings too, though, because we always feature community members on our 7 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday show. But today it's noon and it's Epic Cash Live. And I have with me Max Freeman, founder of Epic Cash, and the guy who, if you can just visualize this guy walking around Miami, he's the one that has this box head. It looks like a supercomputer of a head. And so that's Max. And then we have Enrique, one of our favorite community members. He's part of the leadership team. And Enrique, we're just getting a lot of people saying, can you just get Enrique back because he's so damn handsome? And Todd, you need to raise the bar in that area. So I'm happy to share the screen time.
I can actually speak to that. We were capturing the demographics of our audience lately, and ever since Enrique came on, I don't know what it is. Our performance with the females has just gone through the roof. So the Ladies of Epicenter group has experienced significant traction, and we think it might be a Latin phenomenon, but further.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a lot more ladies in the group, but not because of me.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, speaking of ladies, I hope everybody goes to my last recording, which was Wednesday evening, and you check out the Ladies of Epicenter. That was just awesome. Tons of positive feedback on that. And we are so proud of the Ladies of Epicenter because all of them are so value add. And all of us are learning lots from them. And it is such a welcoming group. If you are a woman who is interested in cryptocurrency and you don't have a clue about it, and you just kind of feel comfortable maybe talking with other women, if you go to t.me/Epic Cash, you can just ask, hey, can you link me to the Ladies of Epicenter group? And you'll get plugged right in. And we've had lots of new members this week in there, and everybody just loves it once they're there. So really encourage you to do that. And by the way, if you're a dude, you can go there too. It's just the fact that this Ladies of Epicenter is just ladies who have the common bond of wanting to figure this cryptocurrency ecosystem out, generally and specifically Epic Cash, the ecosystem, and how that's going to change the world. So, all right, guys, Enrique, this is your first time on this Friday show, and we hope we hope you make it a habit to join us each week. Why don't you just kind of give people a little bit of background on who you are, where you're from, and what you do when you're not doing Epic Cash, and what you do when you do Epic Cash.
All right, so I live in Honduras, lived here all my life, went to school here, also went to college here. And after I graduated, I started working in finance, in a leasing company from a financial institution here. And, I stayed there for a few years. Then I worked, where did I go after that? Oh yeah, I went to a telecommunications company, managing the finances, as a CFO, but I wasn't there for long, maybe a year and a half. And after that, I went to manage a group of casinos. So that was another interesting experience. And after that, I went to work for a energy producing conglomerate of companies, same as a CFO. And I started getting into crypto about 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And I started first buying Bitcoin and then a little bit of Ethereum. And over time, it was just like I started getting more involved in it, but I also had a part-time job. So, I would spend half the day in crypto and then half the day, trying to juggle my job and, my
Yeah.
personal life. But after that, in 2019, near the end of the year, I went, full time, basically crypto trading.
Just
And
trading.
just trading. So prior to that, I had traded, but like, zero risk management using leverage and all these crazy things. So I didn't do too well, like my first year and a half trading, and then I just kind of started accumulating. But over time, I started learning as well. So I would trade a little bit. So by the time that I decided, okay, I want to give it a shot and see if I can make this profitable and if I could make a living this way. So I started studying and trying to learn what would work for me, because with trading, there's so many indicators and like theories and all this kind of stuff that, in the end, it's really the results that matter. So I kind of
Right.
just stuck to what worked for me. And yeah, like I read a lot of books, but mostly it was the practical, getting to it that I liked. And so, I started doing well, and then came the bull run. It started the bull run after I think it was a Tuesday or a Thursday, Black Tuesday. Or no, I think it was Black Thursday that we had the crash in March of 2020. I think it was March 12th or 13th.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, everything just started, popping. So that gave me a lot of, confidence.
Right.
So trading came pretty well for me, but like I mentioned in the live, uh, I could have done a lot better had I just held on to my, Bitcoin in 2016, Ethereum, and all that stuff. So for me,
So
it was
that was your trading became your tuition, right?
yeah. I would do it every day, all day. It was. I wouldn't do it again in that way, because it was 18 hours working every day, no sleep. You don't much. It's like you're focused, and there's nothing
Wow.
else in life. So that wasn't sustainable. I did it for 2 years, but I was really burnt out after that.
And crypto doesn't shut off on the weekends or at night. So,
No,
so I imagine
like
you felt this overarching pressure all the time, right? Almost like when you're not behind the computer missing out, your quality of life was probably kind of crap, because you just feel like, man, I am probably losing all kinds of opportunities because I'm not
exactly.
behind my desk.
Yeah, like sometimes I would wake up, at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. That's usually when I went to bed. But when I got some sleep and I went to bed at like midnight or something, I would wake up a couple hours later, go to
Wow.
the bathroom, and then I'd say, oh, I'll just check to see how the market's doing. And I thought, oh, opportunity. So I would go, and
Wow.
that's not a life for me,
Now,
at least.
now,
And
now I know that just from personal conversations with you, as you evolved and grew, you have a strategy that you think it's better to go narrow and deep in a coin or
yeah.
project versus shallow and wide, right? Instead of investing in 100 coins and being diversified and hope. Why do you think it's beneficial to be able to just get really good and focused on one coin? I know at one point it was for you, it was like XRP, and then and now it's Epic Cash. Tell me the psychology of that. Why you think that's a better strategy?
Looking back at the 2 years that I traded, when I had a lot of positions open, sure, I was making money, but at the same time, I didn't give enough importance to, if I had 20 coins or 15 coins, I alone cannot, be on top of everything and on top of every movement for each coin. So I wouldn't close a lot of them when I should have. And so it was just too difficult to manage all of these positions,
I see.
way too difficult to, I didn't draw lines on charts, but I did use pivots and Elliott wave, stock RSI. I used simple indicators that, weren't too complicated for me. And that, but it was just too much to hold a lot of coins. So what I realized was that my biggest wins came from concentrated positions, like when one coin represented, 40% of my portfolio, things of that nature. Because traditionally what I had learned about investing over the years was that you're not supposed to concentrate your investment portfolio, more than 10, 15% in one asset. But for me, what gave me better results in crypto was concentrated positions. And so I believe that if you find a good project that has not only potential, but that's protected against the risk that's around this industry, then you should really, or at least for me, that's what I want to do, put it all in the project or the projects that I feel will have the most return on my investment in the future. And for now, I haven't found anything that comes close to Epic. So
Why?
that's
What are the positive attributes of Epic that you are former CFO, you have tons of experience in trading, you made your living at it for 2 years. This is not your first rodeo. And so I'm really interested in, this channel's been dedicated to newbies, so we don't really know a lot. So give us some of your experience. Why Epic Cash?
Okay, from a trader mentality, I looked at the market cap, which was when I first heard about Epic, that's what I look at, market cap, circulating supply, maximum supply, how the coins are distributed, everything, how the coins are, the emission rate, etc. And to me, that's like, use the same Bitcoin monetary policy, and the emission schedule is accelerated to meet the Bitcoin demand and the Bitcoin supply in 2028. So the fact that there were so many halvings in between now and then, that was also what got me interested. So first it was the potential, the small market cap, the price, obviously. But I think the one thing that really got to me, and I was like, wow, this could really be it, because it's accessible to the whole world, anybody with a laptop, with a gaming rig, and soon a mobile phone. So that aspect of the coin is what really got me interested,
Now, are
putting
you
everything
talking
else
about,
aside.
are you talking about mining or buying?
Mining.
Yes.
Mining.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
because buying eventually it's going to be available in many exchanges, but creating the coin, competing to get the coins, that's what I thought was fair.
so are you
compared
mining
to the
now?
rest of the market?
Are you mining?
Yes, right this second. No, my computer is taking a break. My gaming computer, but yeah, I'm mining.
Well, it is an absolute pleasure having you on the team, and
no, it's good to be here.
Yeah, it's just we've enjoyed it. And Max Freeman, good afternoon, I guess it would be right now. I know you have several updates that you want to share with everyone, so come on in and say hello.
It's it's an epic afternoon. Thank you for that, Enrique. I have quite a similar background to yours as well. Can you hear me okay?
You bet.
Yep.
All right, cool. So you showed me yours, so I'll show you mine. I got into crypto late 2016 and didn't know anything, so I wanted to put my money with the people who did. So I found a couple smart hedge fund guys that ended up being very successful, and gave them a little bit and learned a lot from what they were doing. There's 1,000 digital asset hedge funds in the world. Now, back then, there were only a few hundred, and I did a thorough survey and found the smartest ones I could, and also just jumped in with both feet I estimate I probably spent, I don't know, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, all of 2017, just obsessed. I mean, I had YouTube going on the channel or on the big screen while I was trading on my phone. I bought over 50 ICOs, a lot of stinkers that went to zero,
Wow.
but I had some good ones, including no particular order, 0x, Kyber Network, Tezos, and Icon. Those were the days. I think I got about 50 times my money on Icon. So those, if you catch them right, and there are a lot of losses, but anything with that type of explosive potential, you can make it work in your favor if you're disciplined. And through the funds, I was fortunate enough to have pre-ICO or IPO exposure to some major winners such as Polkadot, Cosmos, Coinbase, Filecoin, and Internet Computer. So after all of that, I came to the conclusion, like you, that I didn't want to do trading and I didn't want to juggle dozens of positions. Back then you could do it manually on a phone, but now it's just, you need algorithms and you're competing against big brains from MIT and Wall Street, and so it's matured and it's not as easy as it once was, let's say. And I've gone completely focused on Epicenter and all of the different components of it, increasingly as it's proven. I think that while the current small market cap of Epic means that one person can't go and own too much of it, that will remedy itself in due time as we get some of the fiat connectivity and stuff going. I'll tell some updates about the exchanges.
What do you mean? What do you mean one person can't own much of it? I don't understand.
Just, like Satoshi had 1 million coins, and that was widely viewed as too concentrated. And so I've been a part of the project since mid 2018, let's say, the very earliest days. And we started the test net in April and screamed it from the rooftops for 5 months to try and get as many miners in as possible. Mm-hmm. And then in the early days, imagine if somebody had come in and bought up a huge chunk of the coins, and we had a concentration problem, like the pirate situation, where there's early whales that have coins that they got for nothing, and then the markets can be disrupted. Decentralization is super important, and so I've chosen to personally focus. My investment exposure is entirely Epicenter focused, and within that, I'm trying to deploy my resources in ways that act as force multipliers and create key infrastructure for the space as a whole to grow. So as an example, Enrique and I are working on a project in Honduras, a pilot program for clean energy, or not clean energy, for epic mining using renewable hydropower. We had lunch recently here in Florida with the owner, and it's very interesting. Essentially, the power kind of gets stranded if the utility doesn't need it at the time. Then they don't pay for it, and there's nowhere to store it. And so the economics of epic mining turn out to be really compelling. And so something like that, even if it's a small scale proof of concept, it'd show the way to their neighbors in El Salvador, who are buying hundreds of millions of dollars of ASIC miners from China that they're going to install in a volcano, and they're going to have to throw them away after 2 years. Or you could just plug into Epic. The way that we show guys like that how to do it is through stuff like CHSA, Crypto Hondureño SA. So I'm involved with about a dozen startups through a program that we'll end up formalizing as the hashtag Epic Starter program. CHSA is one of them. Crypturns is another, teaching people how to work with our technologies, and this interns staffing program for large companies that want to
look at this. I just pulled it up, and I wanted to pull it up because guess who's in the house?
Who?
Dustin.
Hey!
the CEO of Crypturns. And
my boy.
And a partner of ours and an Epic Cash fan, and Dustin Planhole happens to be
holder.
the host of the Bitcoin.com podcast. and Life's Tough Media, which is right here. So you should go listen to both podcasts. You should subscribe to him, but he's awesome. And this is one of my favorite, visionary companies since I've gotten involved, but Crypturns. Hire a Crypturn, find qualified candidates, passionate about blockchain and cryptocurrency in minutes. Sign up.
You should have him on the show. Bring him on the show. I'm sure he'd come.
We're talking about that. Become a Crypturn. Launch your career in blockchain and cryptocurrency with paid memberships at the world's most innovative and disruptive firms. So you're going to have literal firms that are in the cryptoverse who are going to be sponsoring Crypturnships. So they're going to be paid Crypturnships. So this is one that if you are remotely involved are remotely interested in being involved in this very young asset class that is just going to explode over the next 5 years, then go in there and just get started. Click, get started, become a Crypturn. But you can already see the alliances that they have up here. These are people who have already provided letters of intent for paid Crypturnships. And it's just awesome. So anyway, we love us some Dustin. He's amazing. And I just wanted to share that since he's in the house. All right. There we go.
And he's a great example of the structure of our ecosystem. He's an ECR holder and has skin in our game and a reason to care and to think about us as he's doing his thing. He'll continue to send opportunities our way. He connected me to the people at Wazir X, which is regarded as the Binance of India. So that's very promising. We need to be a little bit bigger before it'll make sense for them to add us, but we'll get there. And when we do, they'll be there. So it's a warm connection established thanks to Dustin. OK Coin is based out of San Francisco is another that he's got a line into. Again, we have to be a little bit bigger, but it's sitting there on the simmer. So just to tie up the prior story,
Sure.
after doing very well with many of these things, I came to the same conclusion as Enrique that I would dedicate all my efforts, my complete focus to only one thing. If I'm awake, I'm focused on Epic and Epicenter and ECR and ECAP and all the other things that are coming. And I think that just, that strategy will result in a lot better overall sustained results over the long term than trying to hop from flower to flower and be an active trader, at least for me. And so I wanted to point out something that we've been discussing in Freeman U on Telegram. It's at Freeman U. If you haven't gone there, you should check it out. We're really kind of hitting our stride, which is to think about the future trajectory of Epic as it goes into what's known as the price discovery phase. Everybody in the boat now, to whatever extent, I mean, if you have some dust, fraction of a coin that you mined and that's it, then maybe not. But if you have even more than a single coin, not to mention hundreds or thousands or even tens of thousands, which is within reach of people with mortals means, as we go up and find the right price, there's going to be a lot of choppiness and volatility on the way, and lots of FUD and lots of FOMO. And so just as a sober accumulation strategy of dollar cost averaging ends up beating 95% or maybe 99% of active traders, that same thing applies on the sell side. And so when I look back at my trading performance, I did certain things well and other things not so well. And one of the things that I think I did well was to be disciplined about taking chips off the table as things would go into their hyperbolic phase. A lot of these coins, we can pull up chart after chart where it'll just go to the moon and then it falls. And then is it coming back because it's really good and it's going to go 10x again? Or is this like you should sell it now and get half your money back because it's going to go down by half again and again and again? If you're an R holder and you paid $16 and you're sitting here at $2.50 or whatever it is. And the fudsters are talking about $1, and your wife wants to divorce you because you lost Johnny's college fund, and your buddies are rubbing it in that they sold at $10 and they're smarter than you and versus just set it and forget it. And so what I encourage people to do is, depending on your individual financial situation and your needs, say, all right, let's say I have 1,000 coins. I'm going to put in an order to sell 100 at $5, another 100 at $10, another at 25, at 50, at 100, at 250, at 500 and 1,000. And then as those as Epic goes up, hopefully, of course, we're talking about the success case, but just dream in a little bit. So as it goes up, and you get your sales hit, then don't go to dollars to sit on the sidelines, go to gold. We're going to make it as easy as possible to go between Epic and EUSD to CGT. But whatever you do, don't keep it in dollars, because you're going to lose 2 to 3% a month due to the currency creation, the process known as inflation. So if you sit on the sidelines with gold, and then when the sky is falling and people are like, oh no, China banned crypto again for the 900th time, and this time they really mean it. You're like, oh, a 70% discount versus last week. All right, maybe I'm going to go back in again. And so you end up with accumulating a pile of gold and more Epic. And along the way, you free yourself from the fiat system.
Here's what I want everyone to do out there. We all have our apps to where we track our crypto. I want you to go add, and this is what's kind of cool, is just go add like CGT, which is Cache Gold, and just put like 0.01 coin in there. So it ends up like $5 maybe, or 5 cents. I don't know. But just have that there so that you see it every freaking day. You see that, and you'll see that it hangs around, $53, $54. And because that's going to become a very important coin in your future with our ecosystem. All right. Sorry about that, but I wanted would you mind a quick interruption, Max? Just because I think, can you guys on screen, can you see this chart from Enrique? Are you guys seeing it?
Yes.
Okay, I really wanted to.
Oh wow, everything's getting murdered.
Everything's
bloody getting out there.
Oh, this chart, I still need to update it today, because in the case of BTC here, it was at 49, but it's at 42,000. I need to update these, but yeah, they're getting hammered. The top 15.
Ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, Solana is the only one who's kind of stayed even, but the rest are
Enrique,
in double digits.
For the uninitiated, explain what this is, please.
All right, so this is basically it's just a chart that a spreadsheet that has a list of coins, Epic, and the top 15 coins on September 3rd of this year. I took the top 15 and I put the price per coin on that date, as you can see in the second column.
Yeah.
And then in the third column, I put coins bought with $1,000, and these are the amount of coins that I bought with them, and then the current price per coin in US dollars. So this was updated a few days ago.
Can I make a polite suggestion?
Sure.
If you could, on every one of these, if you could have a place to where you show the current date, so that like current price, so price per coin in US dollars and today's date would be the thing. Yes.
All right. Yeah, and total portfolio value and the date. All right.
Yeah, because
I'll go ahead and update that and today and show the new format.
Yeah, and the other thing that I would do, just because I know that I remember seeing a chart kind of like this from the pricey guys, but they would always cherry pick during the time of day. Yoga dude's in the house. Hold on, let me admit him. But they would cherry pick kind of when pricey was at its highest part during the day, and then when Bitcoin was at its lowest part. And so, if it can just be consistent to where it's the same time that when you do update.
Okay.
It's, that I just want us to be totally transparent and honest here and not try to lead the witness to where we're great. But look at this, man.
Yeah, no, we can do it. Like I can update this. I'll pick a day and we'll do it. I do it whenever, it's
hey, can you do it? Let's
put it in green.
Let's make, you should, we should be in green. What you should do is update this every Friday morning. And then come on the show, and we'll just do it. We'll make that part of our weekly show. And all right, I think that this will be a constant reminder that Max, can you please talk about? You did some math in Freeman U to where you were talking about you could buy. Go through your. You could buy. I think you did it with Monero.
Yeah. So let's say you're talking to somebody and they say Monero, and my mind is closed. I love Monero. It's the best coin for me. Okay, wonderful. But would you rather have one XMR coin or 850 Epic coins? And before you answer, let me tell you that it's $4.4 billion is the market cap of Monero. So for you to double your money, the market has to absorb 4.4 billion of additional capital. If 4.4 billion of capital comes into Epic, and mind you, Monero doesn't have any kind of stable coin, any kind of DeFi, any kind of this, any kind of all those things. But let's just look at the privacy market by itself. If 4.4 billion comes into Epic, you make 1,000 times your money. So wouldn't you be smart to maybe like, yes, okay, we're crazy, we're wrong, like your mind is closed, Monero's the best, but maybe we're right. Wouldn't you take 1% of your Monero and put it into Epic? Because if we're right, if we're wrong, you're not going to miss it. It's an insurance policy. If we're right, you could end up making 10 or 50 or 100 times your money from the Epic 1% versus the safe portion. If you think Monero is safe and you want to be positioned there, that's a useful min-max strategy as well. So what we're increasingly finding is the idea of Epic as insurance against other theses of people's investments. I'm a BTC maxi. I think it's going to the moon. I have all my money there. I love it. I'm all about it. But maybe you guys are onto something. Let me take 1% or 0.5% or whatever, and even just that little toe in the water. And then over time, the numbers speak for themselves. There's tremendous systemic structural vulnerability across the entire crypto landscape, stemming from Tether and its impact on BTC, which is the reference for all of the other assets. And so the only way that you can justify $250 million or $250 billion for something like Hex or $100 billion for something like a Doge is if BTC is at a certain level. And if BTC is injured because the primary rail, 90% of crypto is trading BTC and USDT. So if BTC catches a cold, the entire industry gets one too. And then there's Epic. And so I think whether the bull resumes or we're in a new bear phase, regardless, on these bloodbath days, Epic is going to shine because everything else is a phenomenon of cleanest dirty shirt in the laundry, and we're just pristine and also unknown. So when one Epic is worth more than one BTC, then maybe the calculus will change. But right now you've got 6 orders of magnitude price protection. It's like people are selling. DSL is on the horizon, and people are selling 56K modems for $900,000, saying that 56K modems for life, bro, because it's first. No, it doesn't work that way.
Well, I want to welcome to the show Yoga, dude, who we miss you, man. I hope everything's okay. We were getting
everything's good. I was just on the phone with a 3D artist guy, just going over some points.
Ooh.
So just working on some marketing collateral for us that I'm really excited about.
Awesome.
One thing that Max was talking about, the Monero community, we actually beginning to see more and more Monero people in our midst too, so the process is happening. It's a gradual process, but we have, I know some of the folks personally from the Monero community. Well, I mean, I was part of the Monero community, from the beginning. And a lot of people do see that incremental advantage. Look, we're not cannibalizing Monero's market share. We're not cannibalizing anybody's market share. Like Max put it, we're offering essentially an insurance policy. People just hedge their bets, get in, and who knows what happens with any particular privacy crypto in this landscape. China showed us again, overnight that they're trying to pump the coin market. They're trying to flex their influence. They have their digital currency coming out, so they're increasingly going to get more obnoxious about attacking competitive fiat. Essentially is how they're seeing crypto. I mean, they're going after crypto now as if it was a US dollar. So it's kind of cool actually to get this much attention, to be taken this seriously. Kind of remember the old Gandhi, first they mock you, then they fight you, then you win.
Right.
So here we are, and it's pretty exciting. And people are kind of numb to this whole, boogeyman, here goes China again, trying to scare people, so we've been through this, we've, been there, done that. And looks like the markets are actually beginning to kind of gradually recover anyway.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
China FUD.
Yeah. It's reliable. And the other thing I was looking at, what's going on with, Twitter is, quote unquote, pioneering Bitcoin tipping, which is a great, it's a great kick in the nuts for like Western Union and some of the other ones. But to me, what I'm looking at, and I'm kind of like, hey, check this out. Here's this heavy-handed censorship network, diddling in this censorship crypto. That's really magical, folks. That's really cool. It's like, here you go, more oversight, more censorship, in a very conveniently packaged, setting. So it's kind of like Facebook, it's like you're the product being pimped out, right? So, oh, hey, look, it's free, right? It's on Twitter, and it's, and you can tip people, and we're going to collect all of your metadata, and then it's like, and we're going to censor you, and come on in, the water's warm, it's like the I don't know, man. I mean, it's just, to me, it's kind of creepy, and it's kind of funny how people are eating this up, but they're not looking at it from where this is going to take them next. So,
hey, I want to show you guys something and tell a story that I think is very pro Epic Cash and counter BTC. So there is an exchange I found that is just freaking awesome. So it is called Godex.io. It is not KYC. You can, if you have, let's say, Ethereum, and you want to convert, let's say you have one Ethereum, okay, and you want to convert it to BTC, because you need BTC invite to get Epic. So instead of going on to exchanges and selling and all of that, you can go right here, and I can get, for my 1 ETH, I can get 0.07 BTC. You hit exchange, and then what happens is you enter your Bitcoin address. So you would enter your wallet address invite for BTC, Bitcoin. It starts with an A, I believe. And once you do, then you hit exchange, and it will pop up their address for Ether. So then you copy that, you go to your Ether in your wallet, and you send, that 1 ETH. Let's say you had 1.1 ETH and you just wanted to send it all, or, save a little for gas. If it doesn't exactly equal 1, this system will automatically adjust for it. Whatever you put in, you get the equivalent of BTC out. Once you hit click, then it starts going, waiting for deposit. Then when your ETH hits, that'll light up. Then they're confirming it, making sure it's good. Boom. then it's exchanging the ETH to BTC. That lights up. And then they send it to your Vite wallet, and it shows as completed. You can then go into your Vite wallet, and you can go to your cross-chain deposit, and in the upper right, you can click on it to see your deposit history, and you'll see that it's coming in. Like, but you have to wait for the confirmations, like, right? Now, I share this with you because I think it was Monday where I wanted to, BTC was I think maybe 48 or whatever, and I wanted to convert 0.1 Bitcoin, or I wanted to get 0.1 Bitcoin to my wallet, and I had some Ether. So I went through this process. Well, it didn't confirm for 13 freaking hours. Now, most people would say, well, what's wrong with Vite? Well, I ended up talking to the Godex people. I got their customer service on the line. They were great, going back and forth. And they're like, no, it's just because it was a shitstorm with Bitcoin, right? Prices were going down. There's this FUD. So when that happens, if you are heavy into Bitcoin and you're like a hodler and you're like, oh, I'm going to get in and get out. No, that blockchain is so freaking slow and expensive. It cost me like, I think it was almost $80 to be able to send that. And then by the time I got it, I finally had access into it. Bitcoin was down $3,000. Max, what would that same transaction speed be if I sent Epic Cash somewhere?
1 minute, and you can send 50 transactions for 1 cent.
There you go, guys.
But people will say, no, that's because you're cheap and nobody uses it. So here's an interesting data point. When BTC is $100,000, it will be probably $100 average to transact as far as the eye can see. In December 2017, when BTC was only 19,000, it hit $81. In April of this year, it hit $62. And maybe it's spiked up again recently. So a lot of people don't realize that there's a very powerful negative feedback loop dynamic with respect to price and the size of the transactions, to where it's going to be prohibitively expensive for everybody who isn't moving billions of dollars to use that base layer. And so through just sheer economics, people are going to be forced onto Chivo style wallet systems to be able to access the Lightning channels, because Lightning doesn't solve it. It actually makes it worse, because you need to do 2 transactions, one to open and one to close. So in trying to get additional scalability, they're going to make it even worse on the base layer. And so when BTC is $100,000, you're going to see $100 fees. And maybe at $1 million, it would be $1,000 or $10,000 or something like that. It just, there is no answer. In Epic, when Epic is $100,000, I would say 90% of people, it will be still essentially free because the block reward is such that there's serious money on the line. But maybe if you're an algorithmic trader or need it there fast and want to ensure that, maybe you would pay $1 or something. We were working on the math in FreeU recently. So right now it's configured with a 1 megabyte block and a 60-second block time. The scaling is linear. So as we take the block size up from 1 to 2, we get double the transactions, from 2 to 4, from 4 to 8, and so on. So people are running gigabyte blocks on other networks, and it's not exactly apples to apples. I don't think we want to take it that far, but I think 16 at least is safe. Let's say if you look at Moore's law, what a megabyte was in 2009, and where it is today, okay, whether it's 16 or 32, I don't know. And then you can take the block time down, first 45 and 30 and 25, 20, 15, and so on. So we're going to be running all these different configurations on our ECK chaos net that we'll be talking about increasingly in the coming weeks. And so if you do that math, we're going to end up having the capability to do 1,000 transactions a second on layer one with full fungibility and full scalability and that speed. And so Ethereum, as an example, to get additional capacity is abandoning the security of proof of work, abandoning the community of GPU miners that made Ethereum what it is, and introducing the additional complexity of sharding and all the unknowns about validators and beacons and slashing and all this. And we've got just a really simple, elegant, clean sheet design that we can scale the bejesus out of. And so in the full white paper that we're about to release for Epicenter as a whole, as part of the ECR token auction that we're going to do here soon, we spell all this out in the roadmap. So basically, we think that the tech won't be a bottleneck to accommodate the monetary needs of the entire world.
Well, the more I know, the more I realize I don't know, and the more I admire your supercomputer of a brain, Max, because I'm starting to see it all come together. But can you please explain, because ECR is going to be a big topic of conversation over the next couple weeks. Can you please just give us a little insight to ECR and specifically maybe some success that we've had with the R community with the ECR air grab?
So we're creating coalescence groups to welcome people from other communities into ours. The group format is the ticker of the other side, underscore ECR. So example, ARRR underscore ECR is the pirate chain one. There's one for Monero at wow underscore ECR. Litecoin is LTC ECR, and so on. And so we've been able to distribute about 200 tokens to about 200 distinct people in these different groups. So it made a material contribution increase to our net community size. And we've done so manually just to gain experience as we learn how and what to automate. And we're really going to be kicking it into high gear. Air grab distributions, in other words, offering a bit of free ECR tokens to people from other communities is a very powerful and scalable strategy to grow our footprint. And so let's remember why ECR is valuable in the first place. Let's say we do very well and Epic goes to a certain price. I'm just going to pick a number. Let's not go crazy and call it $10. And so you have 1,000 coins and you have $10. You want to go buy something for $1,000. Well, you're going to have to sell more than $1,000 worth to gross it up for taxes. So if you're in a 39.6% federal bracket, or hell, it's probably more than that now, I don't even know, plus a high tax state like California, or even if you live in one of the more high tax countries in Europe, you could easily have to sell, let's say, $2,000 worth of coins to net out $1,000. And then, of course, you give up the potential future appreciation, because Epic at $10 is still a pretty good deal. There's a reason that it got to that point in the first place. And so what ECR will enable people to do is, if you stake your ECR, then you will unlock an equity line of credit, essentially, to be able to issue yourself $1,000 EUSD loan by locking up $2,000 worth of Epic as collateral, the bank of Uncle V, the bank of Enrique. It is your personal private vault on a blockchain of your choice. So let's say Ethereum or Solana or Polkadot or any of about 30 of them ultimately will cover. And so let's say you're a day trader and there's a market opportunity to buy a deal because the markets are choppy. You're going to be able to issue yourself a loan right there on demand, only if you have ECR. So ECR unlocks the most flexible and low cost credit facility on planet Earth, because it's going to be structured as no interest, no payments. It's over collateralized. So from a bank soundness perspective, the system stays over collateralized at all times by those conservative lending ratios. And that protects the integrity and stability of the EUSD dollar peg.
And hypothetically, then, ECR continues to grow. So using that $10 1,000, talk about what should what would happen to that loan as Epic goes to $20, $30, $100.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you can always take chips off the table and sell a little to retire your loan at any point. But really, you can kind of just let hyperinflation be on your side for once. So what you want to do.
That's what I wanted you to get to. Educate us on that.
Okay, so I have we're gonna have to be brief because we're coming to the end. But let's say you're in the real estate industry and somebody's saying, "Wow, prices are through the roof. This house is worth 30% more than the year before." Well, if you go to look at the St. Louis Federal Reserve statistics website, it's called St. Louis Fred. You can see that by the M1 money supply measure, pre-pandemic, it was $4.0 trillion was the currency supply by that measure. Today, that number stands at 19.4 trillion. So if the number of currency units in circulation have gone up by over 4 times, and your house went up by 30%, you actually lost like half of your net value as measured in something else, but barrels of oil, bushels of wheat, labor hours of a plumber, whatever you want to look at, just simply because the length of a dollar is shrinking. And so the most powerful thing that Epic brings is that scarcity, the 21 million. In about a month, the daily supply of Epic that the network emits is going to go down from 11,520 to 5,760. And then 2 years later, it goes to 2,880. 2 years after that, it goes to 1440. And then the last one takes about 3 years. I think it's maybe 33 months. It will go, it's not a halving, it's an 85%ing. It goes from 1440 down to 210 coins a day. So we know from the history of BTC over the decade that compression of the supply in the face of growth of the fiat currency amount in existence tends to create this log scale effect in price to go from 1 to 10 to 100 to 1,000 to 10,000.
Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Now you can explain it. This log scale.
Mm-hmm.
I brought it up. See what happens after each halving? Look at the price action. So this was Bitcoin's first halving, and boom, just because you're cutting the supply in half from 50 to 25.
So you got
this
two
is
things.
called stock to flow.
Yep, and you got two things happening. You got scarcity and going, things becoming more scarce. The scarcity belt is tightening, and then also the mining difficulty is increasing. So
and the utility is growing.
Yep, you're getting less. It's harder to get, and the value is going up. So there's your perfect storm.
And so is this just really the genius of Satoshi Nakamoto or the team or whoever that ends up being, that is just the math built into this just being by default, it just becomes this amazing store of value?
So getting back to that quote, I'm not sure whether the mocking or the fighting comes first, but I know I've had my share of both. I've been on record for a long time saying that I think BTC hits 100,000 first, but Epic hits 1 million first. And I'm happy to reiterate that now. The intervening time has only increased my conviction. So the time scale on which that happens, I don't know. But there's a tremendous amount of headwinds for the existing incumbent. And at the end of the day, something with better functionality and 100,000x cost advantage, it's just no contest. So as we continue to make it easier to use and build our community and organizational capabilities, I think we're just gonna continue, where BTC hits some performance ceilings. We're just gonna, like, their ceiling is our floor. Ultimately,
I personally just, I mean, I have BTC in my portfolio, but I don't like it because it just feels to me so manipulated. It is so conditional on FUD versus FOMO, and I just don't think anybody can trust any of the charts except me. I mean, I'll share with you guys. I pretty much am an expert at chart analysis, and I pretty much, you can see right here, I've pretty much called everything correct. And if you don't believe me, just
Pretty impressive.
study this for a while, and you'll see I called pretty much everything. We'll unpack that for another day, but no, it's just like I can't get. Personally, I just can't get enough Epic because I have drunk the Kool-Aid and I just get the math. I mean, when you start talking about the market cap, Epic's 5 million versus Monero and 4.4 billion. And I know that Epic is a better coin by every measure because of the added utility of it. And I sense lurking around some of the Monero chats that there's kind of a shitstorm in that community. There's some infighting and stuff. So I look at all of that and I'm like, no way that's going to double and go to 8.8 billion, or is it billion?
Billion.
Yeah. And
1,000 times us, 1,000 times.
Yeah. So for me, it's just like, feels like it would be a fiduciary irresponsibility for me to do anything but pivot into Epic Cash. That's just me. Enrique, I know you feel the same way. You're not a dumb guy by any measure. Max, you, Yoga, it's like if you stop and just apply some critical thought to all of this, and you do your own work, you do some homework. There's so many videos on this channel down below that you can go through and binge watch. At some point in time, your light bulb's going to go off and you're going to say, it's not going to be long to where Epic Cash is not going to be sub 50 cents.
Let me tell you how that happens.
Yeah.
Because we're getting close to the end. So an update on exchanges. So a week or so ago, something like that, we sent 50 grand to Bitmart. And we currently are in very close discussions with them. We are going to end up with Epic and ECR on there. And it's not clear which one will be first. And we're pushing as hard as possible on both of those. It's looking currently like ECR will be first. The current blocker is we need a legal opinion, which is very straightforward. We just need to check that box, and it's in process. And we're talking with their marketing team about announcements and stuff currently. It's not too late to decide what we want ECR to be paired against. We're doing BTC for Epic because that makes sense, but I could see a number of different options for ECR. So if you have a preference, let us know somehow. So they need until November 26th at the earliest to integrate Epic mainnet, but they can do the ERC20 version sooner. So we are looking into wrapping Epic via either Ren or WAN chain or Keep are the three different options. We're talking with all of those currently. So it require the additional step of wrapping and unwrapping to go to main chain coins. But as we've seen from Veet, many people are happy to just leave them wherever. And the fact that you can do it in a trustless and permissionless way means that people should be pretty comfortable with that. So we're very close with Bitmart and working as hard as we can to get both on there. They do about 2 billion a day. They have 300 plus coins, over 400 pairs. And they do fiat and they take US accounts and institutional accounts. So that's a very strong resource, but we're not leaving it there. Islo and Tim are talking to GravyX and Stex. They're both very reasonable and they can work much more quickly, somewhere on the order of about 2 weeks. Let's call it 3 just to be safe. It's very reasonable. It'll end up being half a Bitcoin for the both of them, which I'm sure we can scrounge up. Timmy is responsible for making that happen. So if you want to donate, I suggest you do. The primary reason that we like Stex and GravyX is in addition to the speed, it'll get us on a site called whattomine.com, where we're we're going to attract all the GPU miners that are getting thrown off the Ethereum network. They're going to be looking for how to earn off of their GPU rigs, and Epic is a strong option for a lot of reasons. So for a very minor investment, we'll be able to get not just an additional exchange, but a new set of eyeballs where when they're looking at what to mine, they will find us. So that's all very promising. In the wings, we have a number of exchanges that have told us they'll list us only when we reach a certain size. So if we can get to $5, then we unlock a handful, and at $10, a few more. I won't mention their specific names, but they're ones that would be seen as very significant validation by the wider world, and that might provide the fuel to get to a higher level. So Nano, as an example, was added by Kraken. It took them 3-4 years to do it, but they had a market cap of 106 million when they got that listing. And the last time I checked, it was, I think, 500 or 600. So they've done quite well. So exchanges know about us by and large, and they're watching. And as soon as we hit size milestones, they will add, and they won't even request money to do it. Ironically, the best ones don't need to charge project teams for listings. So that's great. And then the big thing is ECR. We're doing a balancer LBP, or liquidity bootstrapping protocol, which is essentially a second price Dutch auction where the price starts out high, and everybody gets the same price. It's the second highest price. So it's a really good model for price discovery and making sure nobody has regrets and sour grapes, and avoiding gas wars and flipping and sandwiching and stuff like that. So we're going to be releasing 1.3 million ECR tokens, which is about 5% of the overall supply, onto a dozen different platforms across 4, maybe 5 different blockchains. So all of that is coming together as we speak.
And then what happens once? How does that price discovery then happen? It's unclear to me.
So the way a balancer LBP works is somebody says, we say, here's our ECR token, here's our website, here's our white paper, here's our deck, here's our Telegram, here's all our different stuff. And then people say, oh, okay, I like it. I will take $1,000 worth, and I'm willing to pay this price. And so it's the sum of all of those bids, the market appetite. People specify a price and a quantity, and the system figures out what price it needs to be to make it work. So once we start the LBP, it'll take a maximum of about 4 days to play out, but it could be sooner. It just depends on what the market appetite is.
So in that case, putting your ECR up on those, or that 1.3 million or whatever, that isn't going to require the capital on the other side that you would put it up to, like we were talking about earlier.
So this is the DAO treasury selling tokens to raise a war chest
Got it.
Our further ambitions. And what that does is it brings tens of thousands of new eyeballs into our world to care about what we're doing, and provides people for those of us who got tokens. We distributed about 2.5 million to 120 different contributors. If you haven't claimed yours, please do talk to Michael. We'd like to get them out in as many hands as possible. So, don't delay on that. They're not going to go bad or anything, but just as an administrative housekeeping issue, let's tidy that up. And so whatever the market thinks the value is of our asset, and it should be determined pretty quickly, that essentially gives the market for people that want to take some chips off the table, to bring in some new blood, lighten up your stack, sell 20% or half or whatever, redecorate your kitchen and make your significant other happy. Whatever. We need to be mindful of the fact that we need not to hoard so much that it's unattractive for new people to come in. And it's in our enlightened self-interest to be a little generous, and like the coin donations and sending tokens around and all that stuff is really heartwarming, because that's the way that BTC got to be what it was. It's people like Brock Pierce that were putting coins on USB sticks and dropping them in the parking lot of music festivals and things like that.
Mm.
That's that kind of grassroots guerrilla stuff that is really going to make a difference for mass adoption.
Isn't there kind of a disincentive to sell ECR though? Because you'd mentioned that you have to have ECR to be able to borrow against your Epic.
We aim to make ECR as valuable as possible by creating a lot of utility and value from owning it. But you know, everything is for sale for the right price. So
True.
it's like an Amazon Prime membership. They now it includes videos and this and that, or maybe REI, the sports store, where if you're a member, you get access to classes and discounts and all this stuff. ECR is eventually, or the idea is kind of like a token-based membership model, where if you own an ECR, you are part of our family and you have access to all this good stuff. Incidentally, Enrique and I are working on a project for a high-performance centralized exchange alternative called EDX, where, you know, if you need certain capabilities, API and multi-sig and whatnot, you just can't play with DEXs yet. And we were lucky enough to find a partner that has the infrastructure to support it. They run about 76 exchanges, they said. And so we can get essentially an Epic ECR EUSD exclusively focused exchange in our camp and provide it on a no fees basis. I think the numbers will work. So if you own an ECR token, I don't know about you, but they're charging 0.4% either side of the trade on VTEX. That's 0.8%, 80 bips. That's enormous. So we're getting our eyelids ripped off, and as our numbers grow, we're going to be able to afford some common infrastructure. So you know, we're gonna make those smart investments to make owning an ECR token the obvious and logical thing to do, and maybe it's one of the last things that you sell if you need cash, not the first.
Wow. Yoga, since you're a little bit late, is there anything that you want to, any announcements this week or anything on your mind?
Any announcements this week? Well, I mean, I thought Max kind of, you know, shot everything out there, you know, so I mean, that I can't beat that. That's pretty good stuff. So on the marketing side and on the V3 side, I don't want to get marketing ahead of the deliverables. So we got some stuff coming up here that's going to be pretty cool. Stay tuned. That's all.
All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, Yoga, over the next month, how bullish are you on Epic Cash?
I'm the wrong guy to ask because I never go below 11.
How about you, Enrique? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Hold on. All right. No, I'll give it a 10. And I just wanted to add something to the Bitcoin price chart you were discussing earlier. Let's not forget that Bitcoin has reached the price level that it has with basically speculators and institutional investors driving the price up. No real use case. I think the last time Bitcoin had was used was in the early days in the, online. But that's why I feel so bullish about Epic, because there's utility besides the FOMO and speculation that every coin goes through.
And
it's a great point.
Yeah, Enrique, one thing I'd like to just kind of throw in there is, if we're talking utility, like you're talking about, somebody paying, buying coffee with Epic. Okay. You're buying coffee with Epic.
Yeah.
I've gotten haircuts with Epic.
Cheer.
Okay. And people say, well, can you buy pizza with Epic? Well, go to a bakery. I'm not saying go to some lousy, like mainstream pizza, but go to like a real, yeah, forget that. Okay. Get real pizza. Yeah. Okay. Go to a real pizza place. Okay. Some local place. Spend some time, explain to the person, just, order pizza, and then maybe say, hey, look, I'll do another pizza if you're willing to cut me a deal, and I'll pay with Epic. Here's your use case. Okay. It's really that simple. It's really that easy to do.
Yeah.
interact with people, not like, there's no magical easy button that people mash and, money just shoots out of your, computer. Okay. But if you make the effort, if you make the, if you invest your time, you will move things forward. You will be that milestone person in the mass adoption.
Here's
And
a pro tip. Let me give you guys a pro tip, because I do this a lot now. Any person that I engage with that is in the service industry where I give them a tip, I will give them the tip as normal and say, I would like to give you an additional tip, but not in green cash, in Epic Cash. I'll just say I'm a host of a show on YouTube that's cryptocurrency related, and my favorite coin is Epic Cash. It's going to be very important in our future, and I'm going to send you a link to a 4-minute video. If you go through the instructions and you send back to me your Vite address, and if you have any questions, you can text me and I'll help you. But then what I want to do is I'm going to match this tip, but in Epic Cash. And then you do that. It's a no-brainer decision for them. They're excited. It gets them into the game. And then the next time you see them, I do this with my groomer. Last time I said, hey, do you want your tip in green cash or Epic Cash? And Connie last time said Epic Cash. And she's going to take Epic Cash from now on. So that was just by sending her, in essence, the same tip, but in Epic Cash. So is it a little bit more expensive to get them in that first time? Absolutely. But are you positively impacting someone's life? She just had a baby. So I think my last 2 tips are probably going to put her son through college in 18 years. And I'm 100% convicted on that. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like, let's just start exercising that muscle. There is a video down below, why I like Epic Cash and how to buy it. And you can just simply put that in your notes section right on your phone. And when you're having a conversation with someone, all you have to do, if they're open to it, allowing you to text them, you just copy that, send it to them and say, follow the instructions, send me your Vite address. Any questions, I'll answer them for you. It's the easy button after you kind of get the hang of it. But then I'm going to send you that same tip, except in Epic Cash, which will grow exponentially. And people love it. People are excited about it. And I'm never going to give any of my kids any green cash anymore for birthday presents or for Christmas presents. If they want to get a present from dad, they're going to have to get their Epic wallets. I have 3 of 4 daughters who have done that. The 4th one is just kind of a non-techie, but she'll get there. But that's how I'm going to be sending presents from now on, because I know that it's going to mean, giving them some Epic Cash now could be the difference of them getting into a house, because it's going to grow up to be a meaningful down payment. So yeah, let's do this thing, guys. Mass adoption.
Make it real.
Yeah. So, hey guys, this was great. I really enjoyed today. Feels so much better being able to host this show where I can speak and I don't have laryngitis. So forgive me, those of you on Wednesday who I probably didn't add a lot of energy to that. But we'll be here same time next week on Friday with more updates. And in the meantime, if you want to get involved, if you have any questions, please go to t.me/Epic Cash. And also, if you want to get educated, t.me/Freeman U. That's with just the letter U at the end. FREEMAN U. Please go there. You can just be a voyeur in there and just pick up a ton of knowledge. So, all right, guys. Well, I think we'll wrap this up. Great show. Enrique, I hope you become a regular each Friday with us.
Sure.
And I'd love to go through that report of yours every Friday.
Absolutely.
And nine.
We'll see. I mean, that's the proof is in the pudding. So
Yeah,
we'll
that's
see,
right.
you know,
That's
that's
right.
simple.
All of these people who are just maxis to their own coins, and I get it. You know, when you buy R at $15 and it goes down to 2, you know, it's kind of painful, and you don't want to sell at a loss. So you just kind of go into that self-protection zone.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Not kind of painful.
Education is expensive.
Education is expensive, but yeah. So, but I love the R community, and that's why I'm really super excited to get a lot more of them over here, because I know how much energy they add to any project. So, all right, man.
And we're just sorry, one last thing.
Yeah.
For our holders. We are working on, or I shouldn't say we're working on it, it's on the roadmap. And if there's sufficient demand, we know how to build it. But I know that a lack of suitable exchange alternatives for R has been a pain point. And so with the wrapped R experiment, if we can help on some of the design stuff, we have some experience with that. We're willing to share our expertise and be brotherly. But the other thing is on the eDex side, we know how to do atomic swap directly between R and Epic. So no trust, no permissions, privacy preserving and entirely decentralized. Non-custodial, of course. I know that that's very important to R. And so long-term, we have a number of both RE-USD and R Epic trading options on the roadmap. So we hope to provide additional relevance and utility to the pirate chain community by connecting our assets to theirs.
Last thing I want to end up with is I'm super, super excited that I started a Telegram group called Uncle V's NFTs. And what it is it's rapidly becoming a collection of digital artists. And basically the idea is I never want to do another thumbnail that I create myself. I want it to be done within the artist community, to where the only condition is it needs to have an epic theme. I can, if I have interviews that are coming up, like on Monday night is going to be 153news.net, which is going to be all about battling censorship and how Epic and Epic Fund Me can be a solve for that. So it's going to be a great show. It's Monday night at 7 p.m. Please come. But I already have artists working on the thumbnail for that. So the one that I finally choose, what we're going to do, I'll use that as the thumbnail. Ultimately, my channel will be a collection of these amazing artistic NFTs. And then we're going to get somebody who's a stud or studette in the NFT world, and they're going to sell those NFTs. And then there's going to be a revenue associated with that that's going to be split between the artist, and the rest will go towards like 153news.net. They have an Epic Fund Me. So whatever we get on that division, it's probably going to be like 40% to the artist, 60% to the people that, you know, we have on the show to be able to support them. Then we're going to be able to sell it and then donate that through Epic Fund Me. So it becomes a way to support, another way to support, to use Epic Cash to be able to support people who are getting shut off financially. I just heard Ice Age Farmer that they have literally cut off all of his ability to bank, period.
Wow.
It just is shocking because the guy is just spreading truth out there. It's heartbreaking. What's that?
Where is he located?
I don't know.
Which country?
I sent you guys, I don't know. I sent you guys a link, you and Yoga link this morning.
Because in the Netherlands, that is systemic. Netherlands, basically everybody, not everybody, but a number of people who spoke out against the government's policies woke up one day a couple of weeks ago and they had their bank accounts turned off. And good luck getting another bank account when other banks know that you were just shut down from service. They do talk after all, and banks are definitely, above all else, unwilling to cause displeasure for their regulators, and so they're really in a tough place. Also in Nigeria, if you are unwilling to submit to an experimental medical procedure, you are not allowed to have a bank account either. So the entire nation of Nigeria, we're working on local translations into Igbo and Hausa and some of the other local languages so that we can speak to them on their terms. But essentially 180 million people are facing the choice of having to use alternative forms of money, if they can find any, outside the banking system, or submit to something that may not be compatible with what they want to do with their health.
Yeah. Uncle V, one thing I gotta say, man, I admire you. Okay, you put your money where your mouth is. Okay, and you lead by example. And this is what I'm talking about, folks. Real use cases. That is the way you elevate crypto above fiat. Okay,
right.
It's literally that simple. Okay, if everybody starts doing this, we win. That's it.
Yeah,
that's all it takes. It's our will and our execution.
That's right. So if there are any digital artists out there who want to take a shot at coming into the community and just being part, I mean, cryptocurrency and memes are like, peanut butter and jelly. I mean, like chocolate and peanut butter. It's just like there's just so many great talented artists out there, and they're fun, man. They're fun. So if you're interested, now this is a private group, Uncle V's NFTs. But if you are an artist who is interested in getting involved with that community and being part of the fun and maybe participating, maybe your thumbnail gets chosen, and that's what we sell to raise money for you and for the guests that we have on. Please reach out to me. Just go to, you can actually, the best place to reach me is t.me/Uncle Vigilante Lounge. Uncle Vigilante Lounge. Or you could always go to t.me/Epic Cash and just ask how to reach me. But please, come one, come all. The more the merrier, because we're going to have a creative, epic army of meme artists. And we're going to have a hell of a lot of fun. I'm telling you, it's already becoming a really, really awesome group. So, and we just started it yesterday. All right, guys. Well, thank you. This was great. We went a little bit over, but it was so good. Who cares? And we'll see you guys next week. Please do come see us. Put it on your calendar. Set your alarm. 7 p.m. Eastern time. Yoga, you're going to be on there on Monday, I hope, because this is going to be about Epic Fund Me. Max, if you'd like to be on too, let me know. And I just think that, this is how we, battle. We got to figure out how to salvage freedom of speech and freedom, period. And Epic Cash is a solve for that. And we're going to unpack how we're going to do that. We're going to create a use case for 153news.net. The founders will be on with us, and it is just going to be a great show. Okay. It's 5:00 somewhere. Everybody go enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next week, if not sooner.
Peace out, folks.
All right. Cheers.